This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma, updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're interested in your birth chart, check out the readings page at umaruby.com, and if you'd like to support the work, head over to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can buy me a coffee. Finally, if you're a visual learner, look up Uma Ruby Tarot on YouTube and you can watch and learn. Okay, let's take a look. Hello Aries and Aries rising, welcome to your horoscope for the new moon in Libra happening on September the 26th at 7:54 a.m. if you're in the southern hemisphere with me. So in terms of that dark night to manifest and to create some lovely potential with your spell work, do it on the Sunday evening, the night before on the 25th. That'll be the perfect time. So let's talk about the essence of Libra first up, Aries. Let's talk about the endurance and the want and the wish that Libra has to connect and to find the connective tissue between polarizing energies, between light and shadow, between self and the other, between dark and light. No, wait, I've already said that one. Between good and evil, between masculine and feminine. Libra craves and yearns to find the connective tissue and find the common ground, to burrow in and to tunnel in and to have one and the other realize that they are of the same matter, that they exist of the same stuff, as opposite as we might find other energies, as confronting and as difficult as opposition may feel. Libra strives to gain harmony and to have us realize the similarity of the essence of where we're all from. So this Libra rules your seventh house, which is your house of the other. It's the house of your relationships and the way that you intermingle and relate and receive from polarizing energy, from the other half of your relationships. Aries is self, Libra is the other. And so the both of you experience bliss when discovering that middle point, discovering that counterweight that has balance between the two. At a new moon in Libra is your evening to make a wish and to call in some beautiful new experiences in love and connection, in business relationships, in romantic relationships, in soulmates, in friendship as well. How it's a great evening for you to consider and to meditate on the idea of your experience as one and the experience of the other, and how you wish for them both to meld into one another. Along with this lunation, this moment of potentially, a new romantic cycle beginning, of something fresh and vibrant, of a rediscovery of your current partner and a rediscovery of the relationship and how you wish to consider them as you consider yourself and the needs of one and the other being of equal importance. There's a couple of different aspects that are going on that will potentially aid this lunation. And first up, we need to talk about Mercury, which is the messenger of the gods. Mercury had made its way into Libra at the Pisces full moon 2 weeks ago. So there was perhaps burgeoning messages or burgeoning language or inspiration that you had in your experience in regard to your loved ones, your intimate partnerships that were on the tip of your tongue. But then, as Mercury stationed retrograde and has now moved and found its way back into Virgo, back into the hermit, back into the house, your sixth house of daily ritual and rhythm, your responsibilities. I wonder if there's some messages in there that need a going over. I want you to consider your health and your well-being as well, Aries. I want you to really go over some of the language and some of the understanding and the truths that have come into your conscious awareness in regard to your health and in regard to your ritual, your daily life. What does your life look like in a schedule from morning till night? And what's the health of that? What's the sustainability of that ritual? And go over that information. I don't know if there's been perhaps things or intelligences that have come up about your health and perhaps about the ways in which you need to shift your rhythms in order to get back into a flow, back into a space of taking care of yourself, that you can bring to your relationships. Or perhaps potentially these could be messages from your dear ones in regard to that have had to go back, and you've had to go over what you were learning in those relationships, good or bad, that you've had to bring back into your daily rhythm for a time, and not to put forward or to prophesize or to project or say anything just yet. But there's something there. There's something about a message that is almost like lost in the not lost in the pipeline, but is being sent back in the pipeline in order to go over again. And then we can experience that free flow when Mercury stations direct in some weeks from now. So there's something there. There's something about sort of almost like revisiting the hermitage. That essence of the hermit, you remember, is Virgo energy. It is the hermit is the wise one that has subtracted themselves from the social scene, from the social milieu, in order to open a portal to receive direct guidance and messages from the spirit world, and to incorporate them and to alchemize them and to realize them in a really tangible, earthbound way. If you're wanting to manifest relationship, if you're wanting to call in a partner or a lover or a business associate that is intimate, someone that you'll be working with a lot, it's think of Libra and think about the even-keeled flow that we must have in these relationships. Every relationship that you can think of that is about you and your needs and your support, you need to feel supported in these relationships as much as you provide support for the other. There needs to be that equilibrium, that balance for it to flourish. So if you're wanting to bring something forth at this lunation, I'm looking at your tarot cards now, and there's some stuff here, Aries. I want to remind you of Mars, who is in rulership of your sign. Mars is the guiding force of Aries. So think about that. Mars in its essence is forward moving and direct and violent in some ways, cutting and brave. There is a real propulsion in Mars's energy. We're experiencing Mars's long transit through Gemini, which is your house of communication. You remember the way that you express yourself, the way that you communicate messages. So to have Mars in there, Mars is not so happy in Gemini. There's a real friction. Think fire and air. Think explosion, propensity to explode. Mars is spending so long in Gemini that for the next 6 months, you're going to be dealing with the repercussions, perhaps, of combustive communication, of aggressive communication, of ill-tempered, unmeasured communication. I have the Hierophant here in reverse. So there's something here about just that. There's something here about oppression too. There's something here about being bound to a certain way of living or a certain ideology and an immovability to that knowledge. That's something about being guided by someone or something that is irresponsible. There's a lack of nurturance here. There's a coldness and there's an oppression that I feel from this Hierophant in reverse. Think about it in terms of spirituality when through the lens of organized religion, through the oppression that structure, that prism of light has caused for humanity. Think about the capitalism of organized religion and how hurtful that can be, and also how that can deter someone off the path of a spiritual journey, of coming into essence and alignment and satisfaction with their soul purpose and their access to lessons and to experience and to sharing experience in that way. It's almost as if you're fighting against your intuition as well. There's something here about ignorance. I don't know what layers of or what filters, and this is maybe something that you're working through in that way of Mercury going back to Virgo, is you're reassessing the healthy rhythms and routines that you have. But there's something you can't, with this lens, that lens, the other lens, and I know why we put them there. I know why these lenses exist, and absolutely some of them are to regulate and some of them are medicinal. I understand that completely, but this is something else. There's a blockage here. There's a refusal to look at your intuitive power. There's something that you know, Aries. There's something that you know deep within, and it's maybe in potentially there's a help in this seventh house for you. There's something that you could ask for, hope for, wish for, call into your experience through the channel of your intimate relationships that will have you come back into some sense of alignment and understanding and respect for your intuitive goddess. There's a voice that you're ignoring, and you've been ignoring it for some time, and you've been shrouding yourself in some sort of dogmatic thinking. And that doesn't, that doesn't have to be so much in terms of literal organized religion, but you have a lens of yourself, you've got a veil, you've got potentially trauma from past experiences of the chapel that have you in rejection of any sense of journeying on the soul path, or have you in oppression of that, having you feeling that you are stupid, or that you are disconnected, or you're a heathen, or you're any number of things. But there's a blockage here, and there's Mars in Gemini, that aggression in the communication, or that silencing of the communication because of the oppressor that you're experiencing now, that is keeping you from balance and from harmony and from your home base, from the garden of hope. I'm being drawn back to the last reading that we had, that intuitive reading at the Pisces full moon, Aries, and there is something here to remind you that your help, your guidance that you yearn for can be found and can be asked for, particularly at this lunation, this Libra new moon. You can ask for help from those that love you, or those on the other side of your coin, those relationships. I suspect that you are in some way, some form of ill health, and this is impeding your ability to expand and to grow and to ascend in some way. I don't mean to use such lofty spiritual terms, and I don't suspect or criticize for a moment what level of awareness that you're working with. What I wish to say is that there is a great potential in you to experience bliss, to experience nirvana, to have, you're entitled to all of your forward moving, strident, virile, beautiful Aries energy. I admire you so much for it. There's something here that is blocking you, and the keys might be found in those intimate soul contracts, those soulmates that you consider. Think of the people, the energies in your life that are connective tissue. There is mycelium underneath the soil connecting the both of you. Come hell or high water. It's less to do with sociability. It's less to do with any sense of public face. You know, I think that there's really, if we think of the first and the seventh house and that equilibrium we wish to find between soul and the other, soul and soul, this is where we're working with. And these messages, this information that was on the tip of your tongue to say or to give to your seventh house, because of the Mars energy in your communication zone, it's been sucked back. Mercury is going back into your sixth house, your Virgo, your hermit. Go over what is coming to you and what is what you're enlightened to feel and to understand. Go over that and rest in that. And at this new moon, you can create some beautiful spell work. You can ask for those relationships that you wish to experience in your life. That sense of understanding, that sense of love and support that you are so entitled to, beautiful Aries. Let's get you back into balance though. Whew. That's your reading, my darlings. I love you heaps. I'm going to be speaking to you in 2 weeks at the full moon in Aries. So this will be a full moon in your first house, your house of the soul. So this is going to be a great opportunity on the path that you and I have been on so far to release any residual shame, guilt, fear, whatever. You're going to give it back to the moon, and you're going to reckon and recognize that you have learned the lesson, and we can move forward from there. Nosedive into eclipse season. Head over to umaruby.com and I'll read your birth chart. If you're wanting to understand the essence of your sun sign, your moon sign, and how those two working in high vibration can help you realize the truest potential of your soul sign, your rising sign, I would pick the spirit reading for that. You take care, Aries. I love you.